Okay, Patrick here. I know you've all been dying to know what I've been doing over the last year. So I'm doing this video just to catch you all up as to what's going on and what I'm thinking, and just because I don't have anything else to do. So, you know, it needs to be done. In fact, let me label this just so you know it's official. I'm a senior and I have nothing better to do. So, one of the things I did want to say is I recently did a Facebook post, and it was mentioning that my wife and sister in law have COVID. And I want to thank the many people that responded with well wishes and some thoughts on how to treat COVID. So the dance community that I know here in Northern California, and my friends from my senior class in high school, we have a Facebook page. Really appreciate all of your thoughts on that subject. So since we're just wandering here, at least I'm just wandering here. One of the things is the production of this video. I am doing this in the raw, meaning I'm not going to edit it. I'm not going to post production the audio or anything. I'm just going to let it rip and release it as is. But just to let you know, I'm using a Canon EOS 70D DSLR camera for the video. And one thing I'll say, if you're thinking about buying a camera for doing the web streaming and recording, don't get the Canon DSLRs. At least make sure you do your homework on them. There are some really nice mirrorless ones that are out now that could do the job for streaming. But the Canon that I have, although Canon has a webcam utility that allows me to make this video right now, you can't do it in the full capability of the 1080p or the full high definition of the camera. You can only do it in 720p, which is what I'm doing this film in. So do your research on this. They're too expensive not to do your research. The other thing I'm doing is I'm using a Zoom N4H hand recorder that I had, and then putting them together with OBS, the Open Broadcasting software, which is free. So if you want to just download it and learn how to use it, that's part of what I'm doing right now, is learning how to use it. So over the last year, I've been doing several things. I've been cleaning house, minimalizing, and working on websites. Just to kind of talk about that a little bit, I'll bring this up. Is one of the things I've been working on is Posey Systems is a contract management software package for small business, and I had started to release it and get going with this last year at this time, and then COVID came around and really just put a kibosh on everything. So I'm basically getting ready to restart the whole project here, and I'll be ready in a week or two to release this and see if it's got any interest. The other thing I've done is my own site. I rewrote that, and let me pull up here. Yeah, patrick-flower.com. I don't really use it anymore because it was more for when I was going to do consulting work. I guess I still would, but it goes back to COVID all last year, kind of put the kibosh on on doing any work there. But one thing I did do is I originally had done it in WordPress. And to let you know, I love WordPress. I mean, you can get a site up and running nicely, quickly using WordPress. It's a fantastic platform for putting together websites. But the one thing I wanted to try is to make it the website perform a little better. Is I tried, and I did, I've rewritten it in just plain vanilla HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And there is a remarkable difference in the performance of the website going to just plain coding from the overhead involved with WordPress. So that's just more of interest. Like I said, I love WordPress. It does all kinds of things. Another site that I've been working on, and let me just turn this off. Another site I've been working on and thinking about, really I haven't done much with it yet. It's called Foxglove Academy. It's basically intended to be a site where I'm going to say children, K through 12, but it could be anybody. I've got open-ended thoughts on what we could do with this site, but there are tons of 5-minute tutorials on how to do adding, subtracting, multiplying, different science things. There's information all over the web that a child could use to help fill in their education on something that they don't understand. So if there was something they didn't understand and they wanted to just go and get another explanation or way of learning this, they could do it in one spot. So I'm working on how do I set this up as a nonprofit, how to collect this information and get it in one spot, and even on curriculum, the standpoints of what order to organize it. So I'm working on that. This is more of a pet project for me, just because I find it interesting. And then later on, I want to get to where it could be producing some of our own instructional videos and things like that. So no more to come on that. So anyway, it's a new year. And to get, I guess, more to the heavy side or the serious side of this video, I was talking with a friend not long ago, a few days ago, and in the subject we were talking about, well, anyway, one of the comments that I made to him was that I don't trust our institutions anymore. Maybe all of them. I don't know. So, but let me explain this. Just there are so many agendas out there, and kind of backstories and just purposes out there that I don't know who to believe anymore. I mean, it bothers me, and it makes me sad that I don't know that I can trust anybody anymore. Excuse me. I don't think I can trust the FBI. Who would have thought if you'd asked me a year ago, who'd have thought you'd ever say that? But I don't know. We all have our afraid of the IRS, but I mean that's the whole thing. But the thought of could the IRS really be weaponized against you? I don't know. I don't know if they did or didn't. But just that the thought of it has been put out there, making me doubt it, is really disturbing. I don't trust the CDC and NIH. Since the whole COVID debacle that's been going on, they've had so many different positions and stories on what you should do, what you shouldn't do. You know, who knows what's right and wrong? And then you hear other things, and well, oh, you can't believe them, and then the whole science says, the thing of it is I used to think science was science. Now it's, science is whatever, my agenda is. That's science. You can't trust the media, right or left. I don't care. Any one of them. You can't trust them to give you the truth. They may give you some truth, but other parts of it, they're going to tailor it to their opinion or their agenda. And just one that kind of tickled me, so I guess it shouldn't, but right before last year, right before COVID started, I was taking a class at junior college on an introductory public speaking. And one of the things we're talking about is when you're giving these speeches, you should have facts. And in this particular case, where you're going to give a speech in this class, you've got to be able to document the sources for what you're saying. And one of the sources was the New York Times. And I almost kind of burst out laughing because I don't think of the New York Times as an ultimate source of truth. And it goes back to, sometimes they're right on in saying and telling you some things. I'll be the first to admit that. But the other times, just to give you an example, I do believe the New York Times is supporting the 1619 Project. Huh? So, but there are just things like that I'm thinking, wow, New York Times is the source of truth. Okay. And anyway, I'll let it go. So it goes back to everybody's got an agenda. And so it's for me, I think it's time to engage, and that's really what today's life is all about. So actually, let me pull up here real quick. So there's only a couple things on here right now. I really haven't done much with it. One was when the Washington Redskins were going to change their name, so I wrote a little satirical thing on that I had posted to Facebook, but I put it on this site also. The other was a few years ago, I took several animation courses, not because I was going to change careers, but just that I like animation, and this was one of the finals. So I think it's kind of funny that as far as the subject of it goes, it's not great animation. It's just, it's a student doing some things. So anyway, this site's going to get revamped and really do a lot of things to it. But I want to start basically posting some things, not only to Facebook or wherever, YouTube, to hear of opinion, just observations with really no opinion. I mean, one way or another, it's just observations of things. And one of the things that I'm really, truly interested in is producing debate. It's one thing that I think we've really lost these days is the art of debate, true debate, where we can take a topic and talk about opposing viewpoints of maybe how you would address certain things. We have too many people that try to shut you down if you have an opinion different than theirs. So my focus on this will really be, I'm going to try to get to debate, and I've had some experience working with higher education as far as video productions and from a school, and I'd like to get debate from universities and colleges and get those things recorded and get it on this site where we can talk about different viewpoints on things without getting interrupted. Then you can make up your own mind as to what's true and what's not true, or what you believe or don't believe. Because for me, I think that when we really look at America, it seems right now so divided. It's terrible. But in reality, I think we're pretty centrist. We may be a little left centrist, a little right centrist. Who knows? But we kind of see the same problems on environment or equality or economics, things like that. But we may have slightly different ways of approaching a solution, and that's really what these debates are about. Is let's make sure that we look at all the different ways to approach something, and then make up our mind, not just take the position of what one person says or not. So I'm going to start doing this site. I'll tell you, if you feel strongly about something and you want to vent, like I want to vent, I'll put it on the site. But it has to be an opinion with a well-reasoned argument for that opinion. You can't just say, oh, well, this person's a poopy head or whatever. So, got to be a reasoned opinion. And I'll publish it anonymously or with your name, whatever you want. I'll put it out there, and because we're really just sharing thoughts and opinions and what's different ways of looking at things. So anyway, more to come. I'll talk to you later. Bye.